What's up, guys? Disclosure Artist here, and today I thought I would give a visual representation of some of the things that I've seen over the years. I understand that though I can find a photograph online, and though I could say something looks similar to something I've seen, it's not going to be quite as believable or significant unless I draw the picture myself. And since I'm completely incapable of ever capturing a photo, for whatever reason, I can either choose to have the experience or I can choose to capture it, and every single time I have chosen to capture it instead. So I don't have any photographs, so it really doesn't matter, because in today's world everything can be faked with CGI, which is why I thought I would just take the time to collect some of the most profound things that ever occurred to me into this book. I have a few books, things I write things down in. This one will be specifically for the visuals, and I'm just going to start with the first thing that I ever saw. These are all things that happened in physical reality. I could do another journal that details my dreams, my ET-related dreams, but I have yet to do so. Everything you find within this book I actually encountered in physical reality while I was wide awake. Not starting with what happened before I was born, since I didn't see it. It's not in this book. So everything in this book I saw with my own eyes. Starting with the very first craft I saw when I was 12 years old. You can see right here. It was actually kind of on a slant. It was in a completely bright blue sky. You guys can watch the first 10 videos or so on my channel, and it details pretty much everything you're going to see in this book. Yeah, it looked like this. It was super chrome reflective. It looked like a macaroni and cheese shell up in the sky. This segment here is signifying the reflectiveness of it. You guys can watch that video and get the account of that there. This was the second strangest thing that ever happened to me. This is a rough rendition of my father's computer circa 1990, well, let's say 2000, year 2000. It was a HP Pavilion, Hewlett-Packard. If you can understand that I was using it, and again with the previous picture, the thing was just up in the sky. It wasn't moving at all, and when I went back to look for it, it was just gone. 3 years later, this happened to me, and I was looking at some pictures online when I got, and this is during the age of AIM, where AOL Instant Messenger was the only way people communicated, and I just got this black dialog box just popped up in the middle of my browser, and basically said, "Interesting stuff you're looking at. Go back to that last page." And of course I didn't comply, but at this point they had completely taken over my computer, and the browser started navigating by itself, and you can see this is the keyboard, this is the tower, this is the printer, it's the photo scanner, mouse, and the keyboard. So at that time, the printer printed something out, the page came towards me, there was words typed on it, the CD disk drive popped out by itself, the photo scanner started going back and forth by itself. So everything that's white signifies things that I had no control over. And at that point, I wish I had been a little bit more cordial. I could have found out a little information, but the whole thing was so invasive. I didn't know what to do. I felt as though I was protecting myself, my family, by unplugging it from the wall, and that's what I did. You guys can watch the entire account on that video. And this is the third thing that ever happened to me. As you can see, green vapor trail sighting, approximately age 24. You guys can go back, watch that video. I was standing on the roof, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 other people, and all of a sudden, this just appears in the sky above our head, and we look off and we see a completely different area, way off in the distance. One of these classic silver discs just lowering itself into the palm trees of the hills. This is what it looked like, in case you guys have seen that video. Give you a little visual. This is my attempt to capture the cabin of my vehicle. This is the most significantly close orb sighting I've ever had. And obviously you could see a window, steering wheel, side window, dashboard, and this is pretty much how close it came. It came down about the size of a tennis ball, ball of light, right over my hood. This is obviously the road. I'm actually getting onto the highway here. So this is the highway, and this is the on-ramp. It actually just swooped down in front of my car and zipped off right into space. It was so close, it was so profound that it completely changed my mind. You guys can watch that video, but this is basically what I saw from my point of view if I were sitting right here. I hope this helps a little bit. This is that entity that I saw. He was a man, but there's something wrong with him. And you guys can see that video. He was standing at a highway underpass, kind of like where homeless people stand holding signs, somewhere downtown. Again, he was just flushed in the face. His hair was sticking out like Bozo the Clown. His eyeballs were rolled back in his head. All you could see were the whites of his eyes. All you could see were his lower teeth protruding way far out. He had this almost furious look on his face. And yeah, he had a huge gut sticking out, and he was holding this sign up to his chest. It had some other words written on it, and I couldn't make him out. The only thing that was written in red was what you see here. The whole thing was very spooky. I hope this gives a better example of what it is that I saw. I sure didn't want to slow down and talk to him, so whoever commented that, this is the reason why. This is pretty much what I saw when I made the covert operation witness video. I saw a being dressed like this, maybe 3.5, 4 feet tall. I mean short. Noticeably diminutive. And they were crouching behind all the power lines. And I pulled to the side to watch them. I was the only car on the road. They then very swiftly, in this outfit, which I take to be a hazmat suit, made their way up the telephone line, where they were blowtorching, soldering, couldn't tell you. Sparks were shooting out everywhere. Something up there. Again, they very swiftly made their way down into a civilian vehicle and then completely disappeared. So, my theory about ETs using psionics on us in plain sight, hiding advanced technology within obsolete-looking technology. It seems like they're showing me something around telephone lines for a reason. Here's the next one. Also when I was 32. What I take to be the opening of a portal. As you can see, if this is the top of the power line, again, on a completely different occasion, this time in broad daylight, if this were the top of the power line, then this was the completely blindingly bright opening that I saw as if you were looking at the sun reflecting off the ocean. It's the closest thing I can use to describe it. Just white, blinding light with a smoky black outline. And these spheres came through and disappeared immediately. As soon as they did, this just all disappeared. Just disappeared. Blue sky again. And you guys can watch that video, see more of the details of that circumstance. I'm thinking they were using technology on us to numb out our consciousness. It simply didn't work on me, and yeah, I caught them. It was absolutely astonishing. This is to scale what I saw. Now, this was what I take to be one of the first triangle craft sightings I ever had. I was with my partner. We were waiting for a table at one of our favorite restaurants. We're sitting on a bench. We were looking up at the sky. And very casually, a craft that bared a striking resemblance to what you see here just moved over the building. You can imagine this is just the side of the restaurant. This is the roof. It just very casually just soared over. I then got up and ran this way so I could get to the front of the building and try to see what was up there. But it really just kind of wanted to give us a little nod, a little wink to let us know it was there, because no one else saw it except me and my partner. And from our angle, from the proportion, from the scale, this is the closest rendition I can do so far. This, to some degree, explains my out-of-body experience, which I had actually just across the street from this. This building is across the street, or just a block away, basically, from the building that I was in when this happened to me. So if you can use your imagination, if this is myself and this is my partner, and we're sharing a twin-size bed, and I've mentioned her arm and leg were draped over me, so she's on her side, I was on my back. I made my way out of my body, at least this far, at least 10 feet out of my body. There's vaulted ceilings, but of course not by choice. I did not feel as though I was having this adventure, that I was venturing out. I felt as though something was trying to pull my astral form out of my body against my will. It very much so felt as though it was against my will. And even though it was striking, and I definitely did not spend the night after I shook myself out of this experience, I'm still grateful for it, because it taught me that we are not our bodies. I am more free now than I've ever been in my entire life, because I know this. This was an invaluable experience, and this is the best way I can describe it. I was in my pure energy form, completely aware that I belonged down here. It was intense, to say the least. This is the most significant experience I've had, and I tried to draw it to scale because there's a couple factors involved that one needs to understand in order to recreate this. If this area here is mountainous, and these lights, these dots down here, signify a valley, a descent into a lit city area, then this is the road I was traveling on. This is my vehicle. This is, other vehicles on the road going about 50 miles an hour. The side of the road is lined with trees, forests. But again, there was a small opening between the trees where this massive black triangle craft was just loitering. And I got the feeling that it was just sloppily sitting there. I can't understand how more people did not see it. Again, it's got to have something to do with the psionics they're using, the frequency. They're just that confident that nobody will notice, and if they do, there's nothing they could do about it anyway. But I observed this thing for long enough that I had time to actually shake myself conscious enough to